Oh, like, of course. It makes so much sense that you're surrounded by angels. Like, it makes complete sense that you're surrounded by angels. And there's almost like, there's such a levity around that too, where it's like, it almost seems like you came into this life with this kind of like chain of angels just kind of like pouring into you. And what's like absolutely like beautiful is that as you, it's like that way of being, that natural way that you came into the world, it seems like it guided you in a sense, like you found your way to this particular work because you kind of just have that in you. You're just a channel, an angelic channel. Hello, welcome. Welcome to Akashic Records and Friends. My name is Mina, and I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I I'm so excited to share this episode with you. Oh my gosh, this one was really special. I had the pleasure of speaking to Palmer, who is a new friend. I had only spoken to her briefly before we did this reading, so didn't really know anything about her. This is essentially our first conversation. And I mean, it's very special. She does really beautiful work. She's a hospice nurse. And I didn't know that going into the reading. And so I knew that she worked in like the medical world. I think she mentioned that, but I didn't know what she did. And so I found that out in real time. You'll hear us discussing her work and me kind of connecting the dots as she tells me a little bit about her work. And it's really magical to kind of discover. I think for me, it was magical to discover what she does as her work and what the records were saying, and to see how those just met and made so much sense. Like that, like synthesis of her reality and what the records were offering her. It was really beautiful to witness, and I was kind of laughing at myself, like, oh, Dell, like I should have made sense of that sooner. Like, of course that makes sense, but you'll hear all that in the reading. Yeah, you'll hear my like slowness in there, but it was oh my gosh, it was really cool, and she's just a special human, and I think you'll get to feel that, and you'll certainly get to hear that, but I hope that you'll be able to feel some of the yeah, energetic transmission that's present in the reading, that's present in her records, because this was a unique one, and she's a special person with really beautiful gifts. And I think you'll be inspired with how she is using her gifts, and how her gifts like kind of naturally flow through her. It's special. So I don't want to delay too much, and I want you to just get to dive into the reading because it's full of lots of goodness. And before we do that, I just wanted to share the usual. If you want to listen to this episode, it's on Spotify. If you want to watch this episode and see the video and see me and Palmer talk to each other, you can find that on YouTube and Substack. And if you are looking for more Akashic goodness than just this podcast, I kind of alternate. So I do a podcast episode, and then on the every other week, I'll share a transmission from the Akashic Records. And there's usually like super rich affirmations, journal prompts, different perspectives coming through from the records on different topics on each of those weeks. So I alternate podcast and Akashic transmission, and that's over on Substack. And if you want to get everything, it's $5 a month to join. And if you want to join for free, you'll get previews of everything I share. And those are really lovely too. So whatever works for you, if you want more, that's there for you. And yeah, if you want to subscribe in any of the places that you're watching, listening to the podcast, you are welcome to do that. And what I would really love though is if you listen to this episode and if you get anything out of this, if you get anything from hearing to like the beauty and richness that comes from Palmer's records, I hope that you'll feel inspired to share this with someone. So if there's a friend that comes to mind, if there's someone you know who might enjoy hearing this little dose of Akashic goodness, please send this episode to them. That would mean the world to me. Oh, and one more thing before we dive in. There's no post-reading chat today. There was an issue with the audio quality, so it's just the reading, and then I will chat with you at the end of the episode. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I'll catch you at the end. Let's dive in. The Akashic Records are now open. I'm gonna just take a moment to feel into the space and see if there's anything immediately present upon opening. There's almost this imagery of it feels like there's like angels, like angel energy present. And I don't know if you feel like you have a relationship with a team kind of on the other side of the veil, but it does feel like there's angel energy supporting you. And there's also like imagery of like a pond, like still water and still deep, but like beautiful, almost like glass-like water. And it feels like a pond. And there's this imagery of like all of these angels were kind of like gathered around the pond and kind of like looking at this like very still reflective surface of like they're peering into the pond. That's kind of what's present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been doing some ancestral work lately, so I wonder, I definitely feel more connected to that. So maybe they're all here for this too.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, and
Hmm.
we can definitely kind of invite that energy in, and they're welcome here if you'd like them to be here.
I love that.
Is there anything that you'd like to ask?
Um, yeah, I kind of wanted to follow the thread of what my what is my life purpose at this time
Yeah,
and kind of my soul's purpose.
yeah, great question. That's always a fun one to start with. So let me see. It seems like there's um, a lot around this, and it seems like it'll kind of come through one piece at a time. So I'll speak to the first piece that's present. So as you ask this question, there's um, yeah, there's this like imagery sense of almost being like um the phrase like angelic channel is present where it's almost like if you it does feel like you're kind of surrounded by angel energy, whatever that means to you. Does that language resonate with you or not? Is there another word?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So yeah, it feels like you're surrounded by this angel energy. Angels are kind of all around you. And the imagery when you ask that question, it's almost like if they could like line up with like everyone's hand is on the next like angel's shoulder. It's like a line of angels where they're all connected, shoulder like hand to shoulder in a long chain, and then like it lands on your shoulder. And it's like just this like beautiful, like very fluid effortless, supernatural kind of channel of angel energy. It seems like that's a gift that you
Mhm.
have, and it's something that comes really organically to you, so naturally that you might not even be totally aware of it. And it's almost like it doesn't matter if that like phrasing even lands. And it's like they're illustrating something that's innate where it's like
Mhm.
this is kind of like just how you be in the world, which is really, really beautiful. And it seems like it has this like radiant kind of healing quality, meaning where it like it kind of pours out of you and it really benefits everyone in your vicinity and beyond. And it seems like, if we if you never asked this question and never even like had a sense of this at all, it seems like it would still be this way. And there would be just, it's just in your nature and how you be. And what's even more lovely is that whatever level of awareness you might have around it, it's really felt and really sensed outside of you. So the people around you, it seems like people experience you this way as like a channel, an angelic channel. This like radiant healing energy. Yeah. How does that land for you?
I love that because I feel like I try to, that's like an energy that I just try to embody and give out, especially in my work. And I don't know if it's always felt or received, how it's received by other people, but I definitely feel that energy, the healing particularly, and yeah, love. I just like giving out love.
Yeah, it seems like it is like sensed and it almost seems like people people might I don't know if you saw my cat like sprinted. Um but yeah, it seems like other people almost might see you that way, where it's like they might call you an earth angel, even it's like they might experience anyone who has the like privilege and like pleasure of being cared for by you in any capacity they're feeling that like angel energy just pouring through you and they might not know that you have this like line of angels just like pouring their love and goodness into you and so they might just associate you and that's like so beautiful where it's like they like you're like a manifestation of that energy for
That
people.
energy. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really powerful. Like that feels really powerful to hear for sure. Because I definitely feel that, like that light and energy,
Yeah.
not all the time, but
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
Wow. I love that it's like it feels familiar to you that like you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
particularly when I'm at work, like doing hospice work or
Mm.
yeah, I definitely feel that pretty strongly then.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. It does feel like really relevant to your work, like it's a natural like outlet for this energy to come through. So that totally makes sense. And it doesn't they're saying that and it seems like that might be one of the reasons you felt drawn to that type of work where it's like you always had this angel energy. So that's like such a beautiful way to express that way of being.
Yeah, that's lovely. And it's like affirming a bit too, because I think I've been struggling with like, I love the work that I do, but I don't like the system that I work for or in.
Mm.
Um, but I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be doing for work. So it's
Yeah.
affirming to hear that that's because I have that energy and because I do love doing it. So and sharing that energy with my patients. So
Yeah.
that feels nice to hear.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hmm. It does feel like there's more around this question of purpose. Would you like to kind of continue this thread?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, yeah, let me listen for a moment. So there's yeah, this question of purpose, like what's your soul's purpose? And then there's they offered this like illustration and of just being surrounded, not only surrounded by angel energy, but like poured into by like this angelic energy where it just like it just yeah, pours out of you because it's pouring into you so powerfully. And it has this like very natural yeah, radiant kind of healing quality to it, where it's like just your presence. If you weren't doing anything, you don't have to do anything, but it's just that like the presence, the if you were like exuding, emanating this like angel energy, it is naturally just healing to be in that, in the vicinity of that. And there's more around this where it's like, okay, so that's almost like just your natural way of being. And
Mhm.
there's this sense of like a desire from the soul to like engage with that intentionally. And it seems like within the context of the work that you do, I don't really know much about like what all your job involves. I just know that it's like you said, hospice. So, but it seems like part of the way it expresses, it almost feels like at one of the most vulnerable, kind of like tender moments of like someone's life experience. It almost feels like you're placing, like you're filling any gaps in the heart space with this angel energy for the person, where it's like if life
Mm,
has hurt them and there's like
mhm,
wounds, and wounds being like, yeah, like holes or like parts missing in the heart space where it's like that maybe they've lost, or maybe there's regret. There's all kinds of pain that happens in life, but it's like if the heart doesn't feel whole as they're approaching the end of their life, it's almost like you fill those gaps with this angel energy so their heart can
mhm.
be whole as they move on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I envisioned that's like what I want to do, but I don't, it's like I don't ever, it's hard to get feedback in that
yeah, that would make sense.
space. And I don't want to project my
Yeah.
belief or my thoughts or beliefs on people. So yeah, but I feel that a lot, and that's like my intention is to help people transition the best that they can
Hmm.
and feel whole in a way that, yeah, so many people, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that comes up at end of life, and so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels really powerful. And like that imagery, it's like there are tears in my eyes just kind of receiving that and witnessing that from the records because it's really a powerful um like act of love that you offer folks in that like extremely tender, scary moment, potentially scary moment.
Mhm.
And it's it just feels like it's such a delicate kind of part of one's life experience to like be at the end of life and like
Mhm.
in that like extremely delicate state, and like delicate being yeah, like maybe there's a physical aspect of like delicateness, but it feels like they're speaking more to like the emotional delicateness and the spiritual delicateness of that moment, like just as like leading up to this transition, this like really powerful spiritual transition that everyone will go through. But it's like in that like profound delicateness to be able to like touch someone's heart space and fill it with like love, with like a radiant healing energy so they can feel whole. It's like unspeakably like generous and loving. Yeah. It's like a really there's like a purity of that, and there's almost like a deep reverent acknowledgement of your intentionality being someone that like works in that space and with people in that delicate state of like, wow, to be able to do that, your intentions must be so pure and sincere just to be able to do that. So it's like you wouldn't be able to do that work without your intentions kind of being in the right space. So they're just acknowledging that and reflecting that to you, where it's like, yeah, maybe you, um, yeah, I don't know how that lands for you, but they're almost like, it's not even commending, but it's just like a reverence of like, wow, your intentions are really beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I try for a lot. But yeah, I think it's really nice to hear that reflected back, because I think in this system that we work in, and in this I work for a giant corporation. It's so hard sometimes to like feel that human like tender. I mean, I feel that with my patients and I'm able to give that, but as far as like feedback, it's like you didn't scan the medication at the correct time, you know. I'm like that's not what this work is about for me at all. And
Yeah.
it's really nice to feel like okay, like that is I do this work because
Yeah.
of the healing and the just yeah, I just think people are awesome. And I love being able to offer that like love and support during that transition. So
Yeah.
it's nice to hear and to stop and think about it in the way that I do, like why I do want to keep doing this work. And it's a good reminder.
Yeah, and it seems like perhaps that's even part of like why they're like reminding you of the purity of your intentions and like yeah, just
Hmm.
acknowledging that. It's like you have the records in awe. It's like they're in awe of your intentions and like the grace that you offer people. And so it's like they don't want you to forget that even while doing this work within a system that can feel like sterile almost and like kind of detached from the like deeply human like yeah, just delicateness of the work that like that you do. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been hard to keep sight of that for sure.
Yeah.
I like keep wanting to leave it and break out, but then I'm like, no, I love this work. So yeah, it's nice to hear
Yeah.
the
And it seems too like as we were talking, it was like, oh, like of course, it makes so much sense that you're surrounded by angels. Like it makes complete sense that you're surrounded by angels. And there's almost like there's such a levity around that too, where it's like it almost seems like you came into this life with this kind of like chain of angels just kind of like pouring into you. And what's like absolutely like beautiful is that as you, it's like that way of being, that natural way that you came into the world, it seems like it guided you in a sense, like you found your way to this particular work because you kind of just have that in you. You're just a channel, an angelic channel. And so what's really sweet is that it's like a perfect cycle. It's a radiant, almost like um, it's not just a cycle, but it's like concentric rings, like radiant rings. Like if you drop a drop of water or a stone in a pond, it has this ripple
Mhm.
effect where it's like these angels guided you to this work and doing this work, pouring this love into people. It's like your team of angels just grows and grows and grows through the work that you do. And you've said this a couple of times as we've been talking, like it's hard to get feedback. And what the records and your angels are offering you is like the presence of all of these angels is the feedback that they can offer you. The fact that they are here in spades, like, is like all the proof and um that you could and all the like just highest praise and positive feedback that you could get. It's like it's how they offer their gratitude and their yeah, their praise for the work that you do is through their support and their presence.
Yeah. It's nice to connect again with that and to like feel that and know that because I think I'm always like, want something like tangible, but it is also they're tangible. I just need to remember that. I think it's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's something that you could ask too if you wanted to of like how can you like feel that and like be in
Mhm.
contact with that more because it's like they're
Yeah.
using the word proof, right? Where it's like, but it's completely intangible. And also it does seem like you do sense it, like you do feel it.
Mhm.
So so yeah, it's kind of like a paradox almost where it's like it's intangible proof, but it is like deeply felt.
Yeah. Deeply felt, particularly when I'm at work. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I guess, yeah, where like are there ways to like tap into it a little bit more or like ways to like I guess like remind myself more that they are that this is it. This is like what where I'm supposed to be for now or
Yeah.
and I guess like is there like other work or is there something else that I could move towards or like did I find it?
Okay. Great. Yeah. Good. Good
Does that
question.
make sense?
Mhm. Yeah. So, would it be okay if we start with that first piece of like how to kind of feel connected to that proof
Yeah,
and feedback and that presence more?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then we'll go to the next piece after that. Okay.
Okay.
Just to make sure I have it correct and just so I'm clear, it's like how the question is like how can you feel their presence more? Is that the
Hmm.
essence of it? Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like um you actually do feel it pretty powerfully there,
Hmm.
and there's kind of like a natural kind of like uh spectrum of doubt that might be there too, where it's like you're, and tell me if I'm wrong, please, where it's like
Hmm.
you feel it, and there might be moments where you feel really certain, like, oh, like I am in the presence of like something bigger, something is here with me, supporting me. And then there might be maybe after you feel that like really strong, almost undeniable sense of their presence, later it might be like, oh, I don't know. Like, was that what I was feeling? I'm not sure. How does that feel to you? Does that feel true?
Yeah. Yeah, that is. I'm like, could that be real? Is that
Okay.
I can't
Yeah,
touch it or see it.
right. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but what's like, what they're like pointing to and almost like, yeah, like bringing your attention to is like, you do feel it almost like with a pretty strong degree of certainty. Like it
Mhm.
feels really strongly in the moment. And then it's later that the doubt kind of almost like tries to diminish that experience, because there's no like physical evidence of that. And so what they're inviting you to do, because you're already completely capable of feeling it, it's just that like doubt piece that's
Mhm.
the thing that is kind of like dampening the experience, overall for you is what it seems like, which is
Mhm.
normal. Like that, like of course makes complete sense. But what they're inviting you to do is like when you feel it, like deeply notice it. Like, what does this
Mhm.
actually feel like to feel the support of this like massive team of angels that's pouring into you? And it might be like maybe it's helpful to kind of like have this imagery around it of like they're literally pouring something into you. What does it feel like to be poured into by
Mhm.
angel energy? Like, what does it feel like to be an angelic channel in the moments where you feel like it's happening? Where, because it seems like it's not that like they're turning it off and on, but there are moments where it's like it's more needed, it's more relevant to for you to be channeling that energy.
Mhm.
So it's almost like they never turn the faucet off, but it might feel like the flow is bigger in moments, and then they kind of like they're modulating it for you. That way you're not just like being like like poured into, like flooded all the time, because that would be intense and hard to navigate like the rest of life. So so yeah, but they're modulating it for you. So in the moments when you feel like they're turning on the faucet like more and there's more like water pressure, so to speak, if you're able to notice it, just like bringing your awareness to like what does this feel like? And maybe you do that in the moment. Maybe you do it right after, because in the moment you'll likely be doing something that needs your attention. Um, but directly after it, perhaps, or if there's even just like a little bit of a pause. I don't know how long these experiences last for you. Like maybe it's just like a few moments at a time. Maybe it's a long, expansive time. Do you have a sense of that?
Sometimes it's a few moments. Sometimes it can be. it kind of depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sometimes it's just like, yeah, I think most often it happens when I'm like caring for people at work. And so
Yeah.
it can be like if I'm in and out, but sometimes it can be hours if I'm
Yeah.
working intensely with a patient or a family.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's what it
yeah.
seems like, where it can range from like how long you're like really feeling it. And so that's
Hmm.
great. So if it's maybe just like a few moments, you can consider like just notice it almost like just right after if you have a moment to pause. Or if you're in like a longer expense where it's hours, if you notice kind of um like 10 seconds where you can kind of just almost like retreat into yourself if there's a natural pause in that. Because I imagine when it's like stretched out over hours, there might be natural pauses in that longer expanse of time where it's like there's a pause in the conversation or people are taking a break or whatever, right? It's like there might, is that true?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's not like straight
Right. Just
2 or 3
yeah,
hours.
where you're
Yeah.
like completely dialed in for the entire like amount of time. Yeah. And so if that like opportunity presents itself in that longer stretch of time when you're feeling that like um yeah, like deeper flood and like pouring of angel energy, asking yourself like what does it feel like to be an angelic channel in this moment? And if there's another way to phrase that that feels better to you, you're welcome to kind of like, you know, relate to that question in whatever way feels good. You don't have to use that language. And what they're kind of inviting you into is um, experiencing it as tangibly as you can. So this
Mhm.
is where it's almost like this is an artistic invitation, like a playful invitation to translate a non-physical, right, intangible experience into something as tangible as we can get it to be. Because it is tangible. It is
Yeah.
feelable. You are sensing it really clearly. It's just
Mhm.
that we're not touching like an angel, and it's like we can't point to them and see them,
Mhm.
but you're feeling it as undeniably as like you might feel the table, right? Or like the cup or whatever is there. So it's like it is actually deeply felt. And so they're just inviting you to like bring your awareness to how clearly you're actually sensing it in the moment. And that can begin to serve to that part of the mind that is questioning it. Like, I know I felt it, but like, no, that can't be real. It's like, but look. So it's like you're pointing, you're like almost like inviting that part that doubts to like, look. It's like, look, I'm feeling this like tingling, right? Or I'm like
Mhm.
feeling a deep sense of peace, even though I'm in a like delicate and maybe even stressful, tender situation, right? Or I'm
Yeah.
feeling like um this like really like a stamina of focus, right? It's like that's all of
Mhm.
that are like expressions of this support that come through you. It's like they are allowing you to do this work with a level of like clarity and care and stamina. So it's like all of
Mhm.
those are, it's of course a lot of it is you and your expertise and your practice. And that is like one of the ways like this work is an outlet. It's one way that this angelic support expresses. So, like noticing the ease with which you do it, the naturalness with which you do it, that can serve as proof for you, as much proof as we can kind of like get from this experience that you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I think, yeah, as you're saying that, like the word clarity really, like often when I'm with people, and just drop into these really tender situations without knowing them well, I do
Yes.
often am able to get clarity really fast with what they need. Um, and yeah, and I do like the term outlet too, because it's like I do feel all this love and connection for people, and it's like a good way for me to like, yeah, like you said, like be creative, and it's like an art form sometimes to like
Mhm.
navigate these situations.
Yeah.
Um, but I haven't, it's really good to think about it as like working as an artist in that way because it's an art, it's an art form to like, yeah, just sit with people and navigate
Yeah.
what they need um at
Yeah.
this really tender time often.
Yeah, and in
So,
a space where I imagine it's probably difficult to voice needs because it might be different needs than they've had. And it might be
yeah.
like they might have, you might be working with people that have different levels of practice and skill at naming
Mm-hmm.
their needs in general, much less in a very difficult moment. So it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's like absolutely like this is a very rich outlet for like this intuitive artistry that you do. And it does feel like that where it's like your intuition within like the context of your work is so like precise and like strong and it's felt by the other person, not just you, where it's like they are um really held by like what you're intuitively feeling moved to do and be and how you're being with them. And so the more you can kind of notice, like, and that's why it's like in the moment, noticing what it feels like at a sensation level is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the moments after, if whichever, opportunity presents itself based on whatever you're doing, if you're reflecting on it after, noticing how much clarity there was. So it's like if you're noticing it in the moment, dialing into like, oh, what does it actually physically feel like to do this? And to receive this energy and guidance and kind of like intuitive like movement that's present. And then afterwards, if you're looking like back at it, it's like where did I feel clarity, focus? Where was my intuition? Where was I being
Mm-hmm.
moved moved to do? Like what was I being moved to do by this like guiding energy? Because all of that,
Mm-hmm.
those are like different types of like data and evidence that you can like offer to that voice of doubt.
Yeah, that's great because I often don't pause in those moments. I just
Right.
do what I'm doing. So,
Makes sense. And it like, yeah, and that's kind of the nature of it. It's like it feels like it's almost like a flow state where it's like there's a lot of flow and fluidity and intuition that's like happening in those moments. So it might take practice to even like just allow yourself to almost like observe, like witness while you're in the flow without like breaking it. Because that's not what they're asking you to do. It's like you don't have to break what you're doing and like totally take yourself out of it, but it's just like noticing it. So instead of like taking yourself out of it and being like, wow, look at what's happening, it's almost like being even more in it, but like noticing that you're in it. So it's
mhm,
not like you're stopping it and going outside of it. It's like, what does it feel like to be in it right now? And and then if it has completed and then you are already outside of it because it's not happening anymore, then you can like look from the outside in of like, what was that like? So there's two ways to kind of relate to this. Is that making sense? Like the two different ways to kind of like
mhm.
reflect on it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, just noticing that I'm in it and yeah, then reflecting afterwards a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like as you do it, you might notice like one is easier to do than the other, perhaps. And it also just seems like it's very contextual, like just what you're able to do and when you happen to notice it. It's all just kind of like variable. So there's not like a right or wrong way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all of that feels good to hear, like that it's working
It
and
is. It is.
that I'm in the right place and that yeah, I think I've just had a lot of doubts lately, or I've been trying to be like, okay, do I want to go to like be a chaplain maybe and like do a different route? Um, but I don't know. Then I just keep
Mm.
stopping myself, which I've never been somebody that like procrastinates or I'm always like, okay, I want to do this and then I do it. But I've just been like, I want to do this. Nope, I don't. I want to do this. Nope, I don't. I'm doing what I want to do. So it's
Okay.
affirming to hear like that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, it and there's something interesting around this where it's like it's not that you had to do this, like it's not like this is the only way that this energy can express, but it is a really good like match. Like the medium of this work is a great like it lends itself to your natural gifts and way of being. So it's like that makes sense that there's conflict because it's like you didn't come to this to like do the work within the system, right? Or within the huge
Right.
corporation. But the essence of the work itself is such a hit. Like it's such a direct match for your gifts. It's such a perfect medium for your gifts to flow through a channel and an outlet. So it
hmm
it makes sense that it feels hard to leave it because it is like such a great match
hmm
for what you're doing, where it's like yeah, a sculptor that it's like your preferred type of clay instead of like charcoal or watercolor, right? It's like it's the exact medium that like really works for how you like to express.
hmm Yeah. Well, so I'm fulfilling my purpose, I guess, currently. Is that, are we, yeah.
It does seem that way, yeah. And it also feels like there's questions that you might have around this where it's like, and I know you'd kind of ask that, well, it's like, is this it or is there something else? And we can definitely ask those questions. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I guess is there something else? Or is there like, I don't know, like should I move in, keep trying to move towards something else? Or like, is this like exactly where I'm supposed to be? Or does that make sense?
yeah, it does make sense. I'm curious, like, you said like you might be considering being a chaplain. Are there specific things that you're considering, or is it kind of just
No,
in?
it's just I think that's where I feel a little bit stuck is like I think about these things and then I'm like, well, financially it doesn't make sense or
Mhm.
schedule wise it doesn't make sense. Like what I'm doing right now makes a lot of sense
Okay.
because I do enjoy the work, but I also I guess I have this feeling that there's something more that I'm supposed to be doing. And maybe it's just as simple as like I just need to remind myself of like I am doing a lot. So, yeah, I guess maybe the question is like, is there something more that I need to be working towards?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great question. Yeah. Let me sit with that. So they're almost like they're like if the question is like, is there something more? It almost feels like if you're wondering, like, is there something missing? Like, are you missing something around purpose? No.
hmm
But if you're curious about, like, what, like, potential there is going forward and, like, what gifts that might be, like, around the corner in, like, near seasons that will be, like, wanting to express, as you move forward, we can explore that. So they're kind of being cryptic about it, where it's like, go this way, like, ask these questions.
Yeah,
But
yeah. What should I ask? I think that's, yeah, like, how do I get, yeah, like, is there something in the next season, I guess?
yeah, is what I just said something that you'd want to explore? Like, because it does seem like there's potential. So it's like it to answer this like first question, it's like you're not missing something. So it's like, oh,
Mhm.
is there something I should be like paying attention to or like working towards? It's like no. They also like are kind of weird about should questions, so it's like they don't want to tell you what to do. But so it's like no, you're not missing something, but it does seem like there is something that does want to express in like a near season. So it feels like at this moment you're good, but there's like something lovely around the corner that we can kind of like tap into a little bit and kind of just get a glimpse of if you want to.
Okay, I'd love that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
please.
Okay. And this is less like like a future prediction, but it's more like it feels like there are parts of you that are gonna want to express soon. So that's kind of like
Hmm.
what they're inviting us to kind of ask. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I'm curious, what does the process like broadly kind of like look like for you in your work when you're supporting someone? Is it like, are you also like tending to and caring for their family, like being with their family? Um,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Often um it's answering fan questions, like talking about, yeah, kind of next steps. A lot of people ask like what dying looks like, talking about pain management, anxiety management. Yeah, it's the whole
Okay.
supporting both the patient who's dying and their loved ones too.
Okay. And when the person dies, are you still in
Hmm.
contact with their family? Like, are you still working with their family or no? Does it kind of like end
No,
when they pass?
they pass, and then I'm not, personally, we have a bereavement team that works with them with hospice, but I'm not part of that team.
Mm,
But I've
mhm.
been thinking about doing
Yeah. Okay.
that. That's
Great.
part of like, okay, where next?
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you for answering that. It feels like so yeah, this is kind of what they're offering and what I'm sensing. So it feels like this work is such a beautiful match for the natural gifts that you have. And
Mhm.
it's not that anything is missing. It's not that you're doing something wrong and something's missing and you should be paying attention to something else. But it seems like there's almost like an inner, like a natural, like emergent longing of like, I want a little bit more from this. Like it's satisfying when I'm in it, but I'm wanting a little bit more to like make it
Mhm.
feel more fulfilling going forward because it seems like you've been doing this for some time too, right?
Yeah, for almost 6 years. I've been a nurse for 12 years, but yeah,
Okay.
hospice for 6 years. So,
Okay. Yeah. And so it's like like that's a solid amount of time. It's not like decades, but it's like you've been doing this for some time. And it seems like 6 years in, the frustrations of the system that you're working in are taking away from the overall sense of satisfaction. And
mhm.
that is also contributing to I want more because it's almost like there's like a little bit of a cost where it's like working in the system, they're taking like taxes, right? It's like there's a
Right.
satisfaction tax where it's like we're taking that out of
Hmm.
your satisfaction paycheck. They take a little bit because there's limitations of the system and it's frustrating. So it's like the frustration of working in the system taxes the overall like final amount of satisfaction you have, if that makes sense.
Totally.
And okay,
I'm
okay.
seen as like, I'm like a productivity number, is what I'm seen as with this
Yeah.
system. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that
And
makes a lot of sense.
okay. So it's like, so your sense of satisfaction, because they're skimming a little bit of satisfaction to be able to operate a big, operation like that, it's it is leaving you longing for that piece of the satisfaction that was taken. And so from that place, there's like it's almost like a seed or like a hole where it's like, I want that, like I want my full dose of satisfaction that I know this work can give me. And so from that place, it feels like there's a longing of like, I want a little bit more. And what it feels like that longing could be, or one way that like you could like source that like missing little piece of satisfaction is almost like continuing, like letting the thread extend a little bit longer and a little bit deeper in how you work with people, where it's like, it seems like you do a lot of like, you offer an emotional and spiritual support, like a healing energy to people. And it seems like there's more room to engage with that more directly in how you work with
Mhm.
them. Because as a nurse, it's like they're like you're not on the bereavement team and you're not a chaplain. So it's like there's definitely emotional and spiritual holding happening, but that's not part of the job description necessarily. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's very correct. Yep.
Okay.
There's not time or space to really do those things either. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like there's like constraints from the system and the job description that are kind of limiting how you can express your gifts. And so it feels like finding a pathway that extends the work that you do. So it might not be leaving the position as a nurse, and maybe it will later, I don't know, but it feels like it doesn't feel like the move right now is like stopping like to do something else. It's not a hard pivot. It's like finding ways to like almost like slowly like let this like angelic energy spread a little bit further, a little bit at a time. And almost like it feels like little tentacles that are exploring different directions and like taste testing of like which way feels good. So it's this, it feels like where you're at right now, it's like, okay, where you are is a little bit dissatisfying. There's something missing from here. And so it might feel to the mind like the move is like, oh, let's leave this and do something else. Um,
Yeah.
and what the records are offering you is like offer yourself space to like have this exploratory in between time where you're sensing where the angelic energy wants to go, because that's the thing that will actually source satisfaction for you. And so if you let your mind just like make a quick decision and a hard pivot, it might work, but it seems like you have this resource available to you and it makes sense to let it be part of the decision-making process where it's like letting the angels help you feel into
Yeah.
where they want to be and where you want to express because you and the angelic energy are in deep alignment. So like letting that energy guide you to the next move feels like a smoother way
Mhm.
to do it and like using this like really rich like loving intelligence of this gift that's available to be part of the decision making process. And what it seems like it's looking like is that energy is naturally going to want to be in a place where there's more space and permission and expectation and permission not from the system necessarily, like partly like from the job description, permission from that, but also from the people where they're expecting and wanting you to hold them in the emotional sense more. So it seems like finding a space where there's more implicit consent an expectation for that kind of emotional spiritual holding, that's a place where this energy will want to kind of like expand into and
Hmm.
satisfaction might be available.
Yeah.
How does that?
Yeah. That feels good because yeah, when I've definitely like thought about like when I think about doing like a chaplaincy program, it just feels like, yeah, or like a social worker where I can do bereavement services or like a combination of social work and chaplaincy where I can go deeper with people. Um, that feels really good in my heart. And I've been like, that feels nice versus like public health or like something where I'd be at a
Right.
desk and I would have no patient interaction.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so that makes a lot of sense as to why those things are like feeling more like I'm pulled towards those more and why I haven't wanted to just jump ship for what I'm doing despite this current
Yeah.
hospital system situation.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
they're kind of offering you like a little next step, like of how to kind of like move, because it seems like there's almost three phases to this transition process. One is like noticing where you are right now, noticing that some satisfaction is missing and I want something more. That's where you are.
Hmm.
And then there's this like, the other side of the transition where it's like I'm in a different place and I'm sourcing that like missing piece of satisfaction and it feels good and I'm using my gifts. And then they're inviting you to not take a direct route there through a hard pivot, but rather like move in a more fluid, softer sensing way to get there, allowing
Mhm.
this angelic energy to be part of that process of figuring out what that move is. And so they're like offering a little bit of like a path of how to do that if that's something that you're interested in hearing.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so to kind of like move from this first phase into the second one, what will be helpful? And because it's like that sounds great in theory of like, oh, let this intelligent gift and angel energy help you decide what that actually literally will look like, what it could look like is building the skill of noticing when you feel it, which they were talking about earlier. Like if you can notice it when you're in it, it will be
Mhm.
easier to track as you're sensing and kind of touching different things when it lights up. So it's like building your awareness around sensing it and knowing deeply what it feels like, becoming deeply familiar with what it feels like when that angel energy is strong and present. That'll make it easier to notice when you're thinking about different things, taking a couple steps in different directions. You'll be able to sense it quicker, like, oh, it's lighting up now. Like they like this. Like, right. It's like, oh, you can like hear their approval through that felt sense of like the channel kind of like vibing more and like feeling
Mhm.
that energy pouring through you more. So the like prerequisite step is like the first step is build your familiarity and like build your awareness around being able to notice when they are like strongly present and when they're happy to be doing the work. So because when you're feeling that energy pouring through you, that is their satisfaction. It's like they are happy to be doing that. So when you can feel the angels singing, literally in their joy, then it'll be easy to find when you're testing it out, like, oh yeah, they're happy. Like I'm happy, they're happy. This would likely be a richer source of satisfaction. So that's something to pay
Mhm.
attention to. So that's how you can practically use that to like make your decision making process smoother and to actually fold them into that process. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. And I felt that a little bit in my in my hesitancy with choosing a path. I've been like, no, that doesn't I've been sitting with stuff a lot more than I normally would. So
Yeah.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Does that feel doable? Like, do you feel like
Yeah.
you're equipped to kind of like start that first step?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I feel some urgency to like make a shift, but I think that's like slowed down with some just other life stuff too. So yeah, I think it feels good to trust that more, know that I
Mhm.
can trust that more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and it seems like if there is a sense of urgency or timeliness to this, a real need to like be swift about this decision for whatever reason, it's going to be even more tempting to like just want to make a choice and hard pivot and just jump ship and do the new thing. And what they're
Yeah.
inviting into like you into is slower, and so it can feel like
Mhm.
that can in itself just have a little more resistance around it of like this is taking too long. But what will make it faster is building your skill, practicing, noticing when it's there, and then it will actually be pretty swift. Like you'll be able to make a
Pretty quick.
clear decision from that deeper intelligent and not just from like the urgency of the mind. Like, I don't like this and I need to do something new. Where it's like that's valid, but like that might not
Yeah.
help you make a lasting decision, like a solid decision where it's like you don't want to end up in the same spot after the decision of like, oh, this actually doesn't feel as good as I was hoping it would. So this
Yeah.
is slower but less hasty, and it's almost like go slow to go fast, where it's like spend the time noticing this. And it doesn't seem like it'll be hard. It's just like you're already doing it. Just pay attention to what you're already doing. That's really all it is. And then that'll like inform a swift, lasting kind of decision-making process.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Great.
And as to why stuff I've just been like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to. yeah, just think about trusting that a lot more.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel this feels like a natural kind of like stopping point, but were there any last questions that you wanted to ask before we close?
I don't think so. No, that was really great. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Yeah, if you feel complete, I can ask if there's any last little messages for you, and then we can close. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great.
Okay. There's just a lot of excitement. They're like really, really jazzed for you to have this like even more in your conscious awareness that they are present and like excited to work with you and through you. So yeah, they're really jazzed about like whatever's to come. It seems like there's something really lovely around the corner and like more richness to deepen into with this. So it's like, yeah, just like a lot of gratitude from them to you for allowing them to pour into you and for you to be a channel and an outlet for their like love and healing energy. So there's gratitude to you and there's excitement to like go even deeper and have even more goodness together.
I'm excited. It does. It makes me, yeah, it makes me feel really good. Yeah, it just feels really validating.
Good,
Thank
good.
them. Thanks, angels.
Welcome, welcome back. How was that for you? I would love to know how that landed for you. This reading was it just was so beautiful to me. I think it was an honor and a delight to get to bear witness and just be kind of like a fly on the wall in Palmer's records and to kind of feel the power of the angelic forces and goodness that just are absolutely surrounding this being. And I was so touched by her humility. That was something that, oh, it was so sweet to witness. It really touched me throughout the entire reading. And I hope that she knows it. It sounded like she could really feel the presence of this, just, I don't even know, this like crowd of angels that surrounds her. But she, yeah, was so humble in receiving that. And I hope she knows. And I wonder if you could feel that too in her energy. There's something about it that she has an ease about her and a softness. And yeah, I do feel like she just kind of exudes warmth and love. So maybe you got to catch a glimpse of that and maybe you could just feel it in her energy, whether you were listening or watching. Oh, it was really beautiful. And I think something that was also really curious about this, and I think it was a good example actually, is how she was asking about her purpose. And I think we can all kind of learn something from that, where she kind of had this sense, and I wonder if you have felt this too, because it sounded like it was like a unique experience where it wasn't that she didn't feel a sense of purpose necessarily, and what the records were offering her was kind of a reminder that her purpose is so present in the work that she does. And also just a reminder that purpose isn't always linked to your vocation. For her, it was, and it did like her work, her vocation is such a rich outlet or channel for her purpose and her gifts to flow through. So that might not be the case for everybody. But it sounded like at the beginning she was feeling like she had all this curiosity around purpose and she was wondering like is there something else, and I think that is something that I could really relate to. I've definitely been in that place where you kind of just feel like is there something missing, like is there something else, and I think that really speaks to how she could feel that her work was a good fit in some ways, but she was just wanting more. And that is, that's another way that like purpose can meet us and how we can engage with purpose. It's not always like oh, we feel a total sense of meaninglessness in our lives. That can happen. I've been there too. And so it's like it can be really extreme when we don't feel in contact with a sense of purpose, but it could also be like this is good and I just want a little bit more. Like, is this it? And I think that was a question that she asked, like, am I doing it? Is there something different or is this it? And you can almost hear like just a little bit of longing, a little bit of uh like longing for more satisfaction in that question, like, is this it? And I think she asked that from such a genuine place and was willing to receive whatever the records had in response. And I was tickled with like what the records had for her. And it sounded like there is a little bit more. And that intuitive sense she had that was so present in her question of like, is there more? Is this it? She could sense that there was more that her purpose had to offer her. And I think that's what the records could like just really lovingly illuminate like and it was so funny they were kind of just like nudging her in the direction she was already kind of sensing into and that was I think cute. I think her angels are looking out for her. But I think with this example, it offers us a way to look at purpose, to relate to purpose differently, where it's almost like I've said this before, but it's like purpose is alive. It's living and breathing and evolving with us over our lifetime. And yes, there might be some themes of purpose that are constant, from the day we come in to the day we leave. And we might be working with certain themes our entire lifetime. But there are other things where there's almost like an ebb and flow to it, where it's like there could be seasons. There's a seasonality to purpose sometimes, where it's like in certain seasons of life, your purpose might look one way, or there might be one aspect or facet of your purpose that is more front and center. And then it might kind of like ebb out, and then something new might flow back in. And in that way, if purpose is alive, if purpose is moving, if it's evolving with us over our lifetime, it's like a companion or a friend that changes over time. If you've had a friend who has been with you for many, many years, you know that they are changing with you as even as your friendship stays intact. And that's how purpose is, where it's like it's changing with you, it's growing with you. Your purpose at 60 years old might be different than it was when you were 40, might be different than it was when you were 5. So it it could be that our purpose is changing. And I think in Palmer's case, it's not that it was a big shift. It was just a little bit of like a nudge in a different direction. It's just flowing in a slightly different direction. It's wanting to deepen into the area of like relating with people, like human connection. And I think what's lovely about this example that's present in this reading that Palmer and I did together was just the importance, the value of staying sensitive to what your purpose is, to stay attuned to it, and to not see purpose, to not relate to purpose as a black and white thing that's like almost a stamp or like you take a aptitude test and it's like this is your job and it's like okay, you decide what you're going to do when you're 18 and you just do that and that's your purpose. And maybe for some people it is, but I think even if, you do find a sense of purpose in your work and your vocation, it can ebb and flow. And this reading with Palmer is a perfect example of that. So, what is my point here? It is valuable to allow your purpose to be an evolving expression. And it can inhibit us, it can limit our sense of satisfaction in life if we don't give it the room, if we don't acknowledge that purpose is something that is alive and changing all the time. If we look at it in one way at one, if it's like a snapshot in time. And it's like, yeah, when I was 20 years old, I felt really connected to my purpose. I figured it out, and then I never thought about it again. Well, down the line in 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, and any amount of time, it's like it could have shifted. And if we're not staying sensitive, if we are not checking in with our purpose again and again over time, we will find that, like, oh, this thing changed. And what was once a really rich source of satisfaction and meaning in my life is no longer providing that. And I think what Palmer was so wisely doing was checking in. She's been in that job for 6 years, and it did feel meaningful. And she could feel like, okay, there's something else. Like, is this it? Am I, missing something? Should I be moving in a different direction? She was tracking her purpose over time. And she was asking those questions from a place of genuine curiosity, where it was like she had that willingness of, like, she was willing to make a shift if she needed to, but it felt to me that she was really in devotion to her sense of purpose. And if it needed to move, it seemed like she would do it. And if she needed to stay and, like, just dig deeper into where she was, she would do that. But she was tracking her purpose, and she could feel that something was off. And so that was her question that she wanted to bring to the records. And again, if we think of purpose like our friend, it's like, you know, chatting with a friend when you're 20 and being like, I know this person so deeply, and then not speaking to them for 10 years. And then you meet back up and it's like, oh, you're different. It's like, of course they're different. Of course they're not the same. It's been 10 years. So, and maybe a lot of, like, maybe they haven't changed that much, but I'm sure that there's little things that are different. So a lot can happen over time. And when we treat purpose, um, as having an intelligence and alive and an aliveness to it, it gives us the opportunity to relate to it differently and to stay connected to it, to continue to relate to it just as we would a friend over time, so we don't find ourselves straying so deeply from a sense of meaning in our own lives. So if we can stay connected to it, if we continue to ask the humble questions of checking in with purpose and wondering, is this still in alignment with me? What gifts are coming through? Is this still part of my purpose, or is it not? Has the season of purpose ended and is something new blooming? Those are all really beautiful questions to ask. And I think they're important ones. If purpose is something that you value, if you enjoy having a sense of purpose in your life, then treating it with an intelligent aliveness, treating it like it has an intelligent aliveness to it, it's a game changer. And you might feel like that's a really different way of relating to something that you value, like purpose. That's a really different way of treating purpose than just checking a box or figuring it out once and expecting it to never change again. It's almost like there's something that's almost not fair to purpose in that, where it's like you're expecting it to just stay the same forever over a lifetime, even though you are changing over your lifetime. So it's moving and it's evolving with you. So that's just something to think about. And if that perspective, doesn't resonate with you, that's totally okay. But yeah, yeah, something to think about. And if you enjoyed this episode, again, please, I lovingly ask you to share this with a friend. That's my only request. And if there was anything that touched you or resonated with you, or any curiosity that this episode sparked in you, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message. I'd love to hear from you and hear how this landed. So thank you so, so much for being here. And I'm wishing you well. Until next time, namaste.